All right. Good morning. It's morning for me here. I am Lisa Bronner, here with the Going Green with Lisa Bronner Facebook Live in celebration of Earth Week. Now, as we wait for people to join us, I'm just going to give people a little bit of opportunity to get themselves situated. Why don't you go ahead and let me know where you are viewing from. And I want to give a big shout out to those of you in the Dr. Bronner's headquarters employee lounge, because this is for you. I feel like this is for my colleagues and staff, and then the rest of the world is getting a behind the scenes glimpse, because we do Earth Week pretty big at Dr. Bronner's, and we have things every day this week. We've watched some great videos, documentaries. We've had an excellent roundtable about sustainable food here in San Diego County. We have celebrations and information all week long. And so we are so glad for today to be able to share this with the wider Dr. Bronner's circle, those of you who join us through using our products and being passionate about what we are doing. So welcome to everyone. I'm going to give everyone a bit more chance to join us and to figure out where I am and where they are. And let me say hello to a few people here. I wonder who we have viewing from the furthest away. I'm curious about that. If you think you're the furthest away, let me know. So we have LA, that's my home grown up area. It's Texas. Hello, Michelle. Thanks so much for joining us. And we go New Jersey, you win. Canada, you might be further. Depends on where you are. And North Carolina, that's where I feel like I grew up, because I went to school in North Carolina and spent most of my 20s there. So I love North Carolina. And thanks so much. I think we have somebody. I'm seeing some of our employees that are remote around the country tuning in as well, and so I welcome you too. So as I mentioned a moment ago, I am Lisa Bronner. I write the Going Green with Lisa Bronner blog and Facebook page, and I have a YouTube channel. So lots of ways to find me, and doing lives is one of my favorite things. Well, really my favorite thing is being live. But for the past couple of years, I've gotten better at doing lives, as we say, which means connecting with everyone virtually. And so today is the day before Earth Day, but it is Earth Week. And so today we are going to learn about the many uses of bar soap. Bar soap, of course, is the oldest form of soap. Soap originally was made as a solid. Liquid soap came much later. And so this is not new. But a lot of times bar soap is sort of relegated to the idea of body care. But as we know, the Dr. Bronner's Liquid Castile is easy to use all over the house, and I want to show you today how the bar soap is just as useful. The one thing that you think, well, how can I dilute it for all of my liquid dilutions? And we will get to that today. Now, we are not just, it's not just about me and my demonstration here today. There's something for you to do. We are going to have a giveaway, not just one, but we are giving away 10 sets of the complete Dr. Bronner's bar soap line, 8 cents there, to 10 lucky people. Usually my virtual giveaways are not open to Dr. Bronner's employees, but this time they are, because as I said, our main focus this week is celebrating with our employees, but we are opening this up to both employees and customers today. So if you are a Dr. Bronner's employee watching today, you are eligible for this giveaway as well. I'll tell you in a few minutes how to enter it. So just a little bit about the Dr. Bronner's bar soap. I'm holding here the blue, and if you can tell me what scent the blue is, it's a Dr. Bronner's iconic scent. It is the peppermint. So the peppermint, my grandfather, Dr. Emanuel Bronner, started making the peppermint liquid Castile soap first in 1948. And peppermint has always been his signature scent. Every time we come out with a new product, it comes out in at least peppermint, and then we branch out for the body care products. And so it is a pure Castile soap, which means it's made with vegetable oils, coconut oil, olive oil, palm kernel oil, hemp, and jojoba oils, as well as the essential oils in all of them except the unscented, which has no essential oils. So just for a quick quiz, and you can show me your Dr. Bronner's prowess here, I'm going to tell you the color and you tell me what scent it is. So we already did blue, which is peppermint. Here we have green. Who knows what green is? That is our almond, my favorite. Below this here we have the brown, and brown is eucalyptus. Well, okay, this one's a bit of a gimme. The lavender is lavender. And then we have the dark pink below that, which is rose. And then the light blue, which is, anybody? That is our unscented. So if you are a scent-free aficionado, that one's for you. The dark orange is our, anybody? Dark orange, tea tree. And then I already told you dark blue is peppermint. And below this is my favorite, the light orange. Who can tell me that one? That one is our citrus. So we have the 8 scents, and together you will find your favorite, I am sure. It's kind of funny, amongst the bar soaps, one of my favorites is the rose, and even though it has the same essential oil blend as in the liquid, it comes across a little differently in the bar. So I really like that one. So we have the 8 scents, and I'm going to show you ways that you can use these around the house for all manner of house cleaning. Now, if you haven't checked out my blog, one of the most visited pages is my dilution cheat sheets. And this is where I take all the information that I have many articles about, and I consolidate them onto one sheet for each product. So if you want the, fast and furious version of all of these uses, go ahead over to the blog and download the cheat sheets. So this one is for the bar soap, and you can see, like, it's full. I know you can't read it from there, but it's full. Like, there are a lot of ways to use the bar soap, almost as many as using the liquid soap. So definitely go over and check that out. You can download it, you can print it. There is also one for the liquid Castile, and for the salsas, and for coconut oil. But we're going to just talk about bar soap today. So for bar soap, there are, well, I guess we'll jump right into the uses for bar soap. Oh, I didn't tell you how to enter the giveaway. To enter the giveaway, because I know you want to know. So you have to do 2 things. First of all, you have to like the Going Green page. So I know you've been here and you're a friend, so like the Going Green page if you haven't already. If you did before, that's fine. And then in the comment section, I want you to share a way that you are leaving the world a better place. So this is, for me, the definition of green. To leave the world better than we found it. It's like the ultimate definition of how to be a good guest somewhere. It's to leave the place better than you found it. That's what I feel like we need to do here on Earth, and that is green to me. So go ahead and share how you're leaving the world better than you found it, or leaving the world a better place. And just for me, I mean, there are so many ways, and we think, oh, I'm just one person, I can't clean up oil spills or whatever. But, we are a lot of people, and if we each are doing things to make the world a better place, that adds up tremendously. So I was talking to my kids about this the other day, and I think one of the things that I do, and I want to make sure I'm doing more, is I cook. I'm astounded when I, hit a busy stretch, or I get a little slack and I buy prepackaged food. Not only are those not as nutritious and probably cost more, they do cost more, but they generate a lot of packaging when you buy prepackaged food. And I'm like, wow, like I've got a lot more trash going out of my house these days. So that is one way I feel like it's a green effort. I'm leaving the world better than I found it by cooking with, raw from scratch ingredients, things that don't come in a package, sweet potatoes and apples and squash. And the only trash you have is compostable, and so it goes on to live a better life out in the garden. So that's, you don't have to be the person that's changing policy, although if you are, that's fantastic. But even wherever you are, there's something that you can be doing. So share in the comment section a way that you are leaving the world a better place, or you can also ask a question. We are going to have a Q&A at the end, so ask questions about something I'm doing, something you've heard, something you've wondered, whatever, and I will answer as many as I can, and if I don't get to your question in the live, I will answer it afterwards. So now you know how to enter the giveaway. If you are just tuning in, I do want to give another shout out to the Employee Lounge at the Dr. Bronner's really for you, and I'm so glad that we are back to gathering together there. Even though Dr. Bronner's as a soap company was always open, we couldn't necessarily gather, so it's really quite a celebration to be all together. All right, so I'm going to show you now the uses for bar soap around the house. And I'm just going to use the peppermint here. If you've never had the joy of unwrapping a fresh bar of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, it's really somewhat, magical. It's really special because you can smell it through the wrapper, but then when you open it up, it just really wafts up and hits you. I've had the joy, of course, of seeing these made, and it's fascinating. It's mesmerizing to watch these bars coming out of our bar soap machine. Later on this year, I'm going to be doing a video. If you've not seen my video of the liquid soap production, that's pretty cool. But later this year, I'm going to do one on the bar soap production. So check that out. All right, guess what? The first and most basic use of our bar soap, and this is included even on the cheat sheet, is as a bar. Even around the house for house cleaning. Just keep it in your soap dish. And, if you're going to wash your dishes with your bar soap, you just take your dish brush, get your brush wet, rub it on your bar, and you got plenty of soap there. It washes dishes beautifully. You could use a cloth if you prefer. Anybody who knows me knows I do not like sponges. Just because they're not totally washable, especially synthetic sponges. So although there are some really cool ones now made from coconut fibers and from walnut, but I like cloths. Anyhow, so you know what? We think that we need to have a liquid detergent for our dishwashing. It's not the case. So this will wash your dishes really well. If you're cleaning your makeup brush, the same thing. Get your makeup brush wet. Rub a little bit of the bar soap on it, and there you go. It's not messy, it's super easy. One question I do get, and there's been enough people asking this question that there's good research behind it. The question is, will germs get on the bar soap? People are like, oh, bar soap's not sanitary because I might use it and the next person might use it, or I might use it, my hands had, I don't know, I was cleaning the bathroom and the germs might get on the bar soap. They have actually tested this. This is a job I would not want, but they've actually tested this where they've taken bar soap. As far as I know, it wasn't our bar soap, but they've taken bar soap and they inoculated it with like E. coli and then tested people washing their hands and stuff to see if it transferred. And it did not, repeatedly, it did not. So there's no germ transfer that happens on bar soap, so you don't have to worry about that. If you're going to do this technique, but your brush is a toothbrush and you're going to brush your teeth, which you totally can do, perhaps for your, serenity, you can just slice off a piece and keep it separate for your toothbrushing purposes. But anyhow, so just use that bar soap. It works really well. The second use of bar soap takes a little bit of elbow grease, but who doesn't need a little bit of an arm workout? And that is to grate it. The bar soap grates really, really well. Partially because, and I'm talking on all of this about Dr. Bronner's bar soap. Other bar soaps, there are differences. If you want a little bit of a quick history of soap, there are true soaps, which Castile is, and then there are what are called synthets, which is synthetic detergent. And most bar soaps that you would find in the grocery store are actually synthets. Synthetic detergents, you would not want to use those as freely. You would not want to brush your teeth with those. They also often have additives to it, even things that sound good, like lotions to it or skin softeners. But those are things you wouldn't want on cleaning your house. So you can't just do everything I'm saying with another bar soap. This is a Dr. Bronner specific presentation. As far as the differences between the Dr. Bronner's bar soap and the Dr. Bronner's liquid soap, they are both Castile. They are both made with the blend of vegetable oils I mentioned. There are a couple different things in the process that makes one liquid and one bar. For starters, in order to make a bar soap, you have to use a different alkali. Soap is made, this is how soap has always been made, by reacting oils with a very strong alkali, usually one that's called lye, and lye is sodium hydroxide. If you use sodium hydroxide, react it with oils, you're going to get a bar soap. It's going to turn hard. To make our liquid soap, we use potassium hydroxide. So that's one difference. It makes no difference in the end experience, sodium hydroxide versus potassium hydroxide. Another thing is that to make the bar soap hard, it has the addition of sea salt, and that's just something that helps keep it nice and dry. Obviously, there's less water content. There's actually a little bit of water content in the bar soap. There's about 4 to 5% water content, and that's because if it were like completely dry, it would just crumble. Then the last difference is that there's actually slightly less of the essential oil concentration in the bar soap, just because that softens the soap, and so there's a little bit less. If you think, wow, that peppermint liquid soap, that's just too strong for me, try the peppermint bar. It's got a little bit less, but still the same awesome blend. So, so some of the house cleaning uses of bar soap are to grate the soap, involve grating the soap. If you're like, oh, I like powdered laundry detergent, how can I do that? Make it with bar soap and you just grate it. Now I'm using a box grater. I have tried using my food processor and it didn't go well, and my food processor is very old, so maybe a newer one would work better, but I'm not going to tell you to do that because I don't want to be responsible for what might happen. But if you want to try your food processor with the grating attachment, you go for it. I guess I just go for the workout option and I just grate it on here. And honestly, it grates pretty quickly. Now, for me to grate this entire bar, it would take me about 5 minutes, and when you're live, that's a long time. So I'm not going to grate the whole thing for you here. But you can see I'm making good progress already. It makes these very cute curly cues of soap. And if you saw my post earlier this week, you will also notice, I graded this one yesterday just so that I have it ready to go. You'll also notice that this looks a whole lot like cheese. And I'm using my grater and it looks like cheese. So if you have a humorous bent to you, you could perhaps do some practical jokes with that. I don't know, put it on a salad bar or something. I don't want you to ruin your food though. So, but this grated bar soap is useful for a couple different things, and you will see it again on the cheat sheet. So one of the main ways to use grated bar soap is to make laundry detergent. Obviously the bar soap is much more concentrated than the liquid soap, so you need to use a lot less. For washing in a regular top loader with the liquid, you would use 1/3 to 1/2 cup of soap. You would use the equivalent of about a tablespoon of bar soap. But a nice thing to add to bar soap for laundry is to add baking soda to it, and that gives your laundry a nice boost as well. Baking soda is a natural whitener, natural deodorizer. It also has just plain old scrubbing action, a little bit of a gentle abrasive. So you can use this grated bar soap for laundry. It's also a great quick way if you are a bath taker. I know that seems to be a lost habit, but if you are a bath taker, just to take a little bit of this and dissolve it in your bathtub rather than using the liquid. You know, one of the reasons we're focusing on bar soap and why bar soap is really making a resurgence is because, you know, you don't have the plastic packaging with bar soap. You've got paper, and so you know, you're thinking I want to reduce my plastic usage, but I don't want to give up certain things. Well, this is how you can be using a plastic-free packaging everywhere. So use this grated soap, just dissolve it for your regular bath, or maybe you're just doing a foot bath. This dissolves really well. It needs warm water, warm to hot water. Obviously, don't scald yourself, but it doesn't dissolve all that well in cold water. It would take a lot of time. So that is one thing to keep in mind. So grated soap is another key way to use it. And for recipe conversions, 1 bar of grated soap makes about 3 cups. One bar of soap grated. There we go. 1 bar of soap grated makes about 3 cups of grates. Are they grates? I'm sure there's a very fancy word for what these are individually called, but they look like curly cues. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but that's what they look like here. Okay, so the third way to use bar soap around the house involves liquifying it, and I am moving into that technique because it takes a little bit of forethought. Before I talk about how to liquify the soap, let me remind you that we are doing a giveaway today of 10 sets of the full 8 Dr. Bronner's bar soaps. So if you are interested in receiving one of these 10 sets, then all you have to do to enter is like the Going Green page and put in the comments either a question that you'd like me to answer, or a way that you are leaving the world a better place. This is Earth Week, time to remember ways that we can be gentler on our environment and leaving the world better than we found it. So make sure that you are thinking about that and can have a resolution of a way that you are going to leave the world a better place. So we're talking today about house cleaning with bar soap, which is a little bit strange. We talked about just using it as a bar and putting, rubbing your brush on it for dishes or for makeup brushes or whatever. We've talked about grating it with a box grater and then having that for laundry or for putting a little bit in your bath. And now we're going to talk about how to liquify the bar soap. So this one took me a while to figure out because when you're on the manufacturing side of bar soap, like your goal is to keep it as a bar, You don't want customers saying, hey, I had my bar of soap on my back, on the side of my tub, and after 2 times in the shower, it just was mush. And that's not what we want. We want the bar soap to stay hard. So we spend a lot of time and research and effort making sure the bar soap stays hard, and here I am trying to reverse the process and liquify it. I did a few things. I did this a couple years ago, figured out how to liquify the bar soap like on the home front. It doesn't melt. Keep that in mind. Don't try to melt it either on the stovetop or in the microwave or whatever. The next thing I did was just took the bar and put it in a bowl of water and let it sit for a while. That didn't work either. And I guess that's great, if you are a bath taker and you drop your bar in the bath, or your kids do, it's great to know it's not going to disintegrate. But I wanted it to disintegrate, and so I had to keep trying. And so the next thing I did was I cubed it and I put it in water for a day, and then I blended it. So one of the beautiful things about the bar soap is it actually cuts really well. Maybe it takes a little bit of elbow grease here, but it's pretty easy to cut. I'm going to cut it into cubes here. It's also a good technique to cut the bar soap if you do have little ones and they're like messing up the whole bar, or you're traveling really light and you don't want to take the 5-ounce bar. You can just cut off a little bit for yourself, or maybe you change your mind a lot and you don't want to stick with peppermint for, the month or so it takes to go through a bar. And so you just want to use a little bit of peppermint this week, and next week you want to use almond. So cut yourself off a piece. So you can see I cut that pretty easily into sticks. I'm going to cut it into cubes here. Now I talked a moment ago about how the grated soap looks like grated cheese, and it really does. I'll leave that to your imagination what to do with that piece of information. But the bar soap cubed up also looks like cheese, and in a moment we're going to put it in water where I will show you what I think it looks like. Okay, so I have cubed up the bar soap. Now this is the way you do it if you have planned ahead. You're like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to clean the house. I want some liquid bar soap. So I'm planning ahead. And you just put your cubed bar soap in a bowl. You add 4 cups of water. It doesn't really matter what kind of water, but if you happen to have distilled water or reverse osmosis water, it makes a little bit clearer of a solution. So can you see that? Can you see what this looks like? I'd like to hear ideas of like what you think this looks like, the soap sitting in water. Because just imagine if you left this sitting on your kitchen counter and like your hungry teenage kids walked in and they saw this, like what would they think you were making for dinner? I think this looks like cubed tofu. I think it looks a lot like cubed tofu. And so it would be kind of funny to see what my kids would make of it. My kids know me well enough not to trust what they find in the kitchen, because I might be making, deodorant, or I could be making soap cream. And so they know not to just dive into what they find, even if it's in a mason jar, because I use mason jars for everything. In fact, my kids probably have some sort of like mason jar scarring, because it's just as likely to hold soap as sugar scrub. That's a good one, because it looks almost edible. It's got sugar and a little coconut oil, but it has soap in it, so it's not, it wouldn't hurt you. Okay, So this needs to sit for a day, for 24 hours, or longer if you get, behind. So I got a bowl started yesterday, and you can probably see the water's a little cloudy because the soap is already trying to dissolve there. So then you take your handy dandy blender, pour it all in there. If you do not have a large blender, you might want to do this with half a bar. And then you're going to blend it on low for 30 seconds. Now I'm going to warn you, I'm about to use my blender, so if you have your sound turned up really high, you might want to turn it down. Okay, so on low for 30 seconds. It's amazing how long 30 seconds is when you're live. Okay. It looks right. I hope that was about 30 seconds. Now, why low? Because when you put it on high, you're whipping air into it, and if you whip air into this, it's just going to expand and you're going to make a mess. I mean, I guess stuff will get clean because it's all covered in soap, but it's going to be a mess. So you stay on low, hold yourself back. This isn't the time to test out the full extent of your blender. No, I'm going to open it. Yep, good, yay. Me and my blender, we know each other really well. So that has come up just to the top. So this, I had to come up with a name for this substance because I had never heard of anyone doing this before. And so I call this soap cream. And so this makes about 10 cups of soap cream. And I am going to store it in mason jars. As I said, I store everything in mason jars. I also do actually, make jams and applesauce and stuff like that, so it's not all soap. And I make a mess, because that's what I do. But it's kind of a clean mess, Like yesterday I was using my grater to grate bar soap, and I'm like, do I need to wash this? No, I really just need to rinse it. Okay, this has made a lot more than 10 cups. No, that's like 11 cups, 11, 12 cups. Okay, here is a side note. I don't know if you guys had a middle schooler around a couple years ago when there was this slime craze. Like literally it was making the news. Kids were making slime, like silly putty type slime. And people were like using all sorts of things they shouldn't be using. And so that's why it was making the news. My daughter loves playing with this soap cream because it feels like slime. She just will like dip her hands in it and rub around, and the only thing is, it is soap. You do want to rinse your hands really well and not leave it on there. Because consider what is soap supposed to do? It's supposed to grab oils, and so if you leave it on your skin, it's going to dry your skin out a lot. Anyhow, so you can see it made this soap cream. Now, this soap cream will actually get thicker the longer it sits. So after a week or so, you'll notice it's almost solidified into like a foam. It's fine, you can keep using it, but it doesn't liquefy, it doesn't go into solutions quite as well. So I would only make as much soap cream as you're going to use in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if you can hear my dog, Tucker, whom you might have seen in the dog washing video. He's 14 and he just woke up from his nap. So he is walking around and snorting and sounding like an old dog, which he is. So if you hear some funny noises at my feet, that is Tucker, and you can go say hi to him over on the dog washing post. Okay, so now we have our soap cream. We have liquefied bar soap, and it really wasn't that hard because we planned ahead and we soaked our tube bar soap for a day. Let's say you don't plan ahead, but you really need to clean your house and you really want to use bar soap. So what can you do? Well, first of all, I'm going to rinse the soap off my hands. If I weren't afraid of dropping the camera, I would bring it over here to see Tucker because he has decided to come over and visit. So yeah, you can say hi to Tucker. I'll put a picture of him up later. Okay, so let's say you want to make some soap cream, but you didn't plan ahead and you really want to make some and you want to use it now. This is where you take your grated bar soap, go ahead and put it in your blender. and use warm water. Use 4 cups of warm water with your grated bar soap and blend it on low. Now I say warm, and I really mean warm, not hot, because hot water gives off steam, and if you try to make the soap cream out of the steam with steamy water, it's going to expand the bubbles, and trust me, when you open up that pitcher, it will just go everywhere. So a grated bar soap and warm water for 30 seconds. Now it's harder to make because it takes a little bit more effort to grate a bar of soap than to cut a bar of soap, but if that's what you want to do, that is totally fine. Okay, so now we have our soap cream, and we're going to make an all-purpose spray out of bar soap. So here I pre-filled a spray bottle with distilled, actually this is reverse osmosis water, and as I said, it doesn't really matter, but it makes a clearer solution if you use some sort of purified water. And this is, you'll see on the dilution cheat sheet it talks about quart. This is a half quart, so I'm using half measurements here. And so I've got it filled up almost with water. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup, which you'll see that a regular quart spray bottle will take a 1/2 cup, but I'm using a 1/4 cup because I've got a half size. I'm using a funnel to get it in there. And I'm going to have my all-purpose spray ready to go. It's taking a few minutes for it to get down into there, but it's going, it's going. So this all-purpose spray, this is what you can use on your kitchen counters, your bathroom counters, your walls, your floors, even your carpets. I don't know about you, at the moment I've got 3 dogs, 3 cats, and 3 kids. So the carpets are constantly needing cleaning. And so this will work on that too. I have specific posts on all these things if you want to read more about carpet cleaning. Okay, so we've got the soap. It's of course sitting on top of the water there, a little steady in density. The foam is sitting on top because it's got a lot of air in it. So I'm just going to give that a swirl, let it mix in. You can do this with any of the scents. It doesn't matter. All the scents have the same soap base. It's just what essential oil is added to them. Or you've got the unscented if you don't want a scent, or you can use the unscented if you want to add your own scent. Like you like, I don't know, the smell of lemon blended with pine and eucalyptus. That sounds pretty good. So there we go. We've got our all-purpose spray made with bar soap, and I would use this with a cloth, get the cloth damp, and then just go ahead and spray your surfaces, or you can spray your cloth. Either way works, and it's good to go. So bar soap can be used for everything that we use liquid soap for. Of course, you can wash yourself with it, you can wash your hair with it, you can wash your dog with the bar soap. It's actually a great way to wash the dog and not get too much soap on him, or not have soap running everywhere. It works just as well. Alright, so now we're going to do a Q&A. So if you haven't gotten your question in yet, go ahead and put it in the chat. I do have some people helping me, and I very much thank my colleagues that are helping me behind the scenes. And so we are going to look at some of the questions that have come in already. Alright, so we have Leisha. I tried converting the bar soap to liquid as seen on TikTok, YouTube, etc., and that was a colossal mess. It turned to jelly. So is there a way to utilize the weird jelly mess that I made? Okay, I don't know exactly what the TikTok method was done. That's a platform I have not tackled yet, so that wasn't me. But if it made a jelly, yeah, it's just soap there. So you might need to add more water to it. That might actually liquefy it a little bit more. I added 4 cups to a bar here. But even so, if you just, dilute it in water and shake it up, or if that's not working, just blend it up, it's perfectly good. You can use the soap cream in laundry if for some reason you don't want the grated bar soap, maybe it takes too long to dissolve or whatever. You can use the soap cream, and I think your jelly should work as well. Just warm water to hot water. You can, your kids might find it fun to bathe with that. Put it in the tub with them. You can wash a dog with it, wash yourself with it. So it should work, even though it feels a little funky. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't sound like it. If it's really old, maybe not. But if this is something you did like last week, then you should be just fine. All right. Janice Grell has microwaved Zote soap to reduce it to powder. Can you microwave your bar soap? No, I don't recommend doing that. I'm afraid you might scorch it. I don't know the water content of Zote. It's also a tallow-based soap, which means it's made with beef fat. That might change what you can do with it. But if you try to microwave our soap, I'm afraid you will have something very hot and potentially burned. So I don't recommend microwaving it. Grating it really is the best, even though it takes the bit of elbow grease there. Kristen is asking, is the peppermint the most popular bar scent? Absolutely. In the United States, the peppermint is the most popular scent of anything. Whatever product line we have, the peppermint's always the most popular. Probably more than 50% of our sales are peppermint alone, and I think actually 50% of our sales are the peppermint liquid quart alone. But the peppermint bar soap is the most popular scent, so it doesn't have to be your favorite scent. It's not my favorite scent. I don't dislike it, but it's not my favorite. So you can pick your favorite. But yes, if you want to go with the popular one, you could go with the peppermint. Nicole, can you also use it as a scrub mixed with salt or baking soda? Absolutely, definitely. It would make a great dry scrub, one that you can you put it on your wet cloth or whatever and liquify at that point. But definitely, you can use the grated soap, mix it up with salt or sugar, coconut sugar. I even have a recipe, I have a blog post about making scrubs with our soap, and one of them is combining the bar soap with coffee grounds. And you want a real fine, what is it called? Fine grind of your coffee grounds, like an espresso grind. And that can make a really good foot scrub. Coffee grounds also, and I don't know the chemistry behind this, but coffee grounds take out food scent from your hands. So if you get like onion or garlic on your hands, using a scrub that's a combination of the bar soap and coffee grounds can get rid of that, or gasoline if you've gotten something like that on your hands. So definitely, you might want to go ahead and put this, once it's grated, put it through your food processor so that you do have more of a powder, and it would match the texture, the powder texture of your baking soda or your sugar or your coffee grounds. That makes a really great gift too. Okay, Jen has found that most bar soaps cause mold when used in the shower. I think it's the fat in the soap, and that's why she only uses the Dr. Bronner's liquid. Would the bar cause mold? No, it would not. I mean, bar soap, soap is self-preserving in its original form. Once you dilute it, you're diluting its natural preservative system, and so soap does not rot. The only thing I could think of is if you have unrinsed soap and it's actually holding water against your corners of your shower or whatever, the water certainly could contribute to some microbe growth there. So you want to, I have a squeegee in my shower and I just like get the water out of the corners and stuff, and it makes the shower much easier to clean, when I go to clean it itself. But remember that the fats in the soap, or the oils in our case, the olive and coconut, they are saponified. They're turned into soap. So there's not actually like oil left in the bar of soap. You think, oh, I don't want to put oil on my skin, I might clog my pores, which is a different topic to address. But there is no oil, those original oils in the soap. So I can't speak for other bar soaps, but you also want to keep your bar soap out of sitting water because, it does soften over time. As you saw, I left bar soap sitting in water for a day and it softened so that I could blend it. If, you leave your bar soap in the shower sitting in a puddle or in a soap dish filled with water, it is going to get mushy. The water content could cause some microbe growth there. So, Christina is asking about disinfecting. Good question. So when you get onto the manufacturing side of soap, words take on a whole new meaning. So there's cleaning, there's disinfecting, there's sanitizing, there's sterilizing. All of these words have different meanings, different legal definitions. And so it's important that you understand what each one does and where it's needed and what you want to do when. So to clean something with soap is to remove the debris that's on it. That's how soap works. Soap removes debris. It removes oils, it removes germs, it removes dirt. And it does that because soap forms little bubbles around oils and germs and such. It forms, and this bubble, this sphere, is called a micelle. And so it surrounds it, and then when you rinse it, it actually rinses it away. That's cleaning, it's removing. Disinfecting and sanitizing and sterilizing all have to do with killing. And so there's going to be something in there that actually is going to kill a microbe or kill a germ. And so that is not how soap works. The thing that would need to kill is going to be some form of pesticide. I mean, that's not the word you want to think about when you're thinking about your hand soap, but that is what it is. And so anything that is a disinfectant or a sanitizer is actually governed by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, because they oversee all pesticides. So soap does not have a pesticide. Oh, our soap doesn't. If you have a disinfecting or an antibacterial soap, they would have some sort of killing ingredient in it. There was actually a big to-do not that long ago over antibacterial or disinfecting hand soaps because they were a huge part of the market, and finally someone said, are these doing what they say they're doing? You know, if you buy a disinfecting soap, you assume it's going to do more than a regular soap. So prove it. Well, this is actually what the FDA asked all these manufacturers of antibacterial soaps. Prove it. Prove that your product does something different than this product. Prove that it's, you know, leaves things cleaner or more germ-free. And honestly, you don't have to look at me for this one. Look at the FDA. They couldn't prove it. They couldn't prove it. With all that market share at stake, they couldn't prove that their product did more than a regular soap. Soap cleans, soap removes. That's what we needed to do. There wasn't anything left to kill. And so the reason that the FDA came down on it is not only was it misleading, but it also had these really strong ingredients in it, like triclosan, that were contributing to, that were having other impacts. The side effects of them were starting to come out as having harmful side effects to human health. And then there's also been this surge of antibiotic resistance, where the germs and microbes that we face aren't being killed by the things that used to kill them because nature finds a way. And so there was a ruling that 16 different ingredients could no longer be used in hand soaps and body soaps because they didn't do anything more than regular soap did, and they had all these side effects that were problematic. So all that to say, soap is not a disinfectant unless you have a soap that has a disinfecting ingredient. We do not need disinfectants, by and large. You need to use disinfectants when you need them, and if you use them too often, then when you need them, they won't be there as effectively as previously. So on a regular basis for your body, soap is all you need. Once again, I have a blog post about this if you want to know more. That's called Soap is All You Need, because it cleans us well enough. It's the same is true for our household surfaces. The only places you might need a disinfectant is if you have somebody actively sick, and that's a situation where you really want your solutions to do something extra. So if somebody's actively sick, or for high-touch areas, which are handles and light switches. You know, we think, oh, like the dirtiest, most problematic things in our house are like our toilet. Honestly, most people don't touch the toilet. You touch the handle. But it's the handles of our sink, more than the sink itself, that might transfer germs. It's our light switches. It's the things that somebody else touches and you might touch. Those are where you might want to think about a disinfectant. And with all the talk in recent years about disinfecting things, there's a great website on the EPA about safe disinfectants, because using a harmful one or too strong of one could have a negative, harm you when you're trying to be healthier. All right, so I have some questions coming in from the employee lounge. I love it. So a shout out again to all the Dr. Bronner's employees watching from the lounge. Do bar soap concoctions clean differently For liquid soap mixtures, do you recommend one over the other for various uses? No, they do not clean differently. They clean exactly the same way. The same, what I was talking about a moment ago about surrounding germs and surrounding oils with that sphere called a micelle. Same thing's going to happen with liquefied bar soap as liquid soap. Or if you're using just regular bar soap. It doesn't clean any differently. You'll notice this made a little bit cloudier of a mixture than if I had made this with liquid Castile soap. But it's fine. It's just that salt and ingredient in there that causes the bar soap to be extra hard is causing that. Another one from the employee lounge. Do bar soap, that's not it. Are there things you should not mix with the bar soap when making cleaning products? Yes! It's the same things you shouldn't mix with the liquid soap when making cleaning products. You should never mix vinegar with soap, ever. Except, there's one exception which I'll get to in a minute, but vinegar and soap react with each other. The vinegar unsaponifies the soap, so when I was saying there are no oils left in the soap, well, if you combine the bar soap, whether it's liquefied or otherwise, with vinegar, it's going to pull those oils back out. And so then you're going to have oils in whatever your mixture is, and that's not going to clean very well. The reason is vinegar is an acid and soap is a base. If you can remember back to your chemistry class, the same would be true of lemon juice because it's an acid and soap is a base. So you wouldn't want to combine lemon juice with your bar soap either. Those are the two biggies that I think of with not combining with the bar soap. The caveat is if the solution contains bar soap or soap and baking soda, vinegar will react with the baking soda first. And those of you who are really deep into reading my blog, I thank you. You might have seen my DIY soft scrub, which is a fun thing to make, and that does use both soap and baking soda and vinegar. And the vinegar and baking soda react to form a foam, and that makes a great reaction there. Okay, we have time for just a few more questions. What do we have? Would my husband be able to use soap cream for shaving? Absolutely. Now this is actually still pretty concentrated. So like, I wouldn't just take this and put it on your face. It would probably be really drying. So still, at the point of use, go ahead and dilute it a little bit. And use it for shaving. But yeah, it's a great texture. I'll take advantage of my spill here. It's a great creamy texture and it would work really well for shaving. One other use for just the regular bar, and I appreciate my people who write into me and tell me these things that they do. If you are old school and you use a shaving cup and a brush to create your shaving cream, just cut off a little sliver of the soap, put it in your cup, and make your shaving cream that way. And it makes a very, very nice, creamy, it's not foamy. As I said, I call this soap cream. But it makes a really nice, creamy shave gel, I guess you could call it. Okay, I've got soap on my hand again. Okay, and then what do we have here? 2 questions asking if you can demonstrate cleaning with the soap spray. Yes. Okay, so this is just, a liquid. It's going to come out of here just like a regular cleaning spray that you might have. You always want to have a wet cloth because that's soap adheres to water. That's part of how it cleans. It grabs oil and it grabs water. So you got to have a wet cloth. It's not like if you have an alcohol-based cleaner, alcohol evaporates. It kills. It's actually a disinfectant. And then it evaporates, and so it doesn't necessarily need the damp cloth. In fact, actually, if you want the disinfecting capability of alcohol, you need to let it evaporate. Okay, so this would just, you would spray it on your surface. I've got my quartzite countertop here, and wipe it off, and you're good to go. I mean, all I have on my countertop right now is soap. I don't have any oil to clean up, but it is a very easy solution to make. If you, I don't know how fast you go through cleaning solutions in your house. I go through them really fast around here because we have a lot of dirt. But if you don't, clean a whole lot, I would recommend a smaller bottle. You don't need a great big quart. All right. So we are going to wrap up the Q&A section now. If I didn't get to your question, or you think of one later, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I will monitor that for a while and answer any questions there. So don't think that you're too late. Or if you are not watching this live and later you have a question, go ahead and put your question there. I will be happy to read it and respond to it. We have been doing a giveaway, which is now closed because I'm going to announce the winners. We have 10 winners that will be receiving this set of Dr. Bronner's bar soaps, 8 different scents, and you will get them in the mail. And so we will be needing your mailing address. And so I want to give a congratulations to our 10 online winners. We have, number 1 is Carolyn Gale, Christina Pierce, Laura Ong, Tanya Moser, Zoila Elizabeth Garcia, Colby Hansen, Kristen I'm going to murder that name, Smarzowski, Alyssa Hauser, Jim Barnes, and Todd Finney. And what I love about that list is some of those names I've never met you, but I recognize you because you participate in a lot of our conversations on Going Green. So I'm so glad that you are going to be receiving the 8 bar soaps. And then we have our winner from the Dr. Bronner's Employee Lounge, watching this live from our headquarters in Vista, California. Winner from the Employee Lounge is Leticia Maldonado. So congratulations, you will be receiving a set of 8 bar soaps as well. So I want to thank you all for coming today, tuning in, listening, for how to use bar soap, for house cleaning. I hope you've gotten some good ideas. If you have an idea I haven't shared or you have some thought, please share it with me. I enjoy hearing from you, and I do look forward to interacting with you on future lives and just regular Facebook posts. We always have some good conversations going there. So, once again, I'm Lisa Bronner with Going Green with Lisa Bronner, and I will see you the next time we go green.